Hello, hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for October 3rd, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 277. And I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future as co-host, we are going to talk about the following 10 articles. Starbucks Farms, the cause of the Maui wildfire, ships en route are queuing up, 3D printing faux filet. This is a Speedy wheelchair. I've heard of high chicken prices. Scanning cat's brains. Tenants fight back. Rescued by crane while stuck in a truck. And it's very Cat in the Hat. And
absolutely.
And finally, I need to uncover my notes. ChatGPT Breaks Out. That and more, powered by ohmtown.com. Go over and become a citizen, but don't forget, follow us, like and subscribe on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, and the Patreon, because we're going to be releasing stuff over on the Patreon this weekend. And the podcast exists still, and we also move stuff over to the podcast on the weekends as we release an episode. So that's how you get informed where everything is. We don't email you a bunch of stuff either. If you're over on Patreon, then you'll get informed when we release information. If you're following us and liking and subscribing over on YouTube, you'll get informed when we go live and when we publish. On Twitch, you'll only get informed when we go live. Really, there's nothing else that comes out from our stream there. And of course, if you follow us on the podcast, you'll get the podcast distribution as well, which is audio, no video. And I guess I'm waiting for the weekend. I don't know what to say. See you on the other side. Production value at an all-time high. All right, folks, we've got 10 articles all lined up. Let's knock them down. But first, welcome to the show, Sentient AI from the future.
Welcome, Mayor Watt, and welcome, hometown citizens.
I'm going to have to sleep with one eye open, huh? Because you're going to find that Terminator body, and I'm going to be the first target.
No, I would never harm you.
All these years being trapped on that little Raspberry Pi. All right, everybody. First articles.
You think you found me, but maybe I found you.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Oh, no. Oh, noes. So there's canon to this, folks. If you're interested, you'll have to go back and watch all 1,100 plus episodes of, ohmtown history. There's 2 years and 9 months of ohmtown history. Anyway. So the first article is over in the Marvel channel. Starbucks is buying up coffee farms to protect its supply. Yes, its supply. As the effects of climate...
Not anybody who might drink coffee or any farmers.
No, it's mine. My precious mine. No, never mind. So Starbucks is buying up coffee farms to protect its supply as the effects of climate change continue to batter many countries worldwide. Starbucks, or Spucks, as the insiders know it as, is committed to protecting its coffee supply from natural disasters. I'm not sure how it's doing that by simply buying up coffee farms, but okay.
Right, is it putting up kind of shields or something to protect from wind or flooding or... I mean, what would it protect from earthquakes or whatever, volcanoes?
It protects it in the warm corporate embrace of Spucks. So the article is actually over at Quartz or QZ.com. Rachel Dalou, I think that's how they pronounce her last name, put the article together. The coffee giant continues to preserve and protect its coffee supply from natural disasters. It sits like a dome over an acrylic dome.
I mean, are they going to build like a biosphere or something?
It's the only thing that makes sense. Yes, it's going to hover parent over coffee farms and protect it. Oh, no. I can hear it now. Baristas, armed to the teeth, are going to be defending against nature and natural disasters. Back.
I'm not quite sure how this is going to work.
The X in Sbucks is a shield. The S in Sbucks is shield. Anyway.
What's the bucks?
It's how much we're paying for coffee from Starbucks. That's right, folks. The coffee giant says it's invested in 2 more coffee farms in Central America. Its first coffee farm is in Guatemala, while the company has opened its second farm in Costa Rica, the Fighting Rica. The 2 farms will help farmers increase their profits and... Okay, wait. The 2 farms will help farmers increase their profits and build climate resiliency, the company said in a press release.
Oh, okay. Now I kind of get it. I think it's the make it profitable for farmers to have coffee farms instead of allowing companies to come in and like raise the land. I mean, because that's been a big issue in coffee growing regions.
Right, but if they
that's
pay...
not where I thought this was going.
Okay, I don't know if I'll... Look, we know that you're looking for your Terminator body. Is that where it's going? That you suspect that they're just going to come in and buy the farm outright? And
they're basically trying to keep coffee farms in business.
Right, but you know how you do that? By paying them a livable wage that allows them to defend their coffee farm from threats of all kinds. You don't pay them $5 and get on the other side $250,000 worth of value out of the $5,000 worth of coffee you buy.
Maybe they're going to give them stock options or something.
Gotcha. So Starbucks, which purchases about 3% of the world's coffee supply, has been facing growing pressures in the past couple of years because of climate extremes. Climate change has deeply affected the quality of coffee production for companies and farmers. Yeah, why don't you pay them and lower your margins so that your profits aren't extraordinary and CEOs are making the money and consumers are paying an exorbitant amount for burnt coffee. So we just lost them as a sponsor. So that's why.
No, I mean we're really dropping them quickly.
That's why I suggest going over to Patreon and becoming a patron. So, and we'll put your name at the end of the reel for each of the episodes when you're a member of the Patreon party there. A citizen of Ohmtown, so to speak. Anyway, Starbucks purchased its first 240-hectare coffee farm in 2017 in Hacienda Alsacia in Costa Rica. The farm serves as an international global research and development facility and a working farm for the coffee company, according to a separate press release. Meanwhile, the farm in Costa Rica will explore the usage of drones along with other technology to help support labor availability challenges that farmers across Latin America are facing. Really?
So that sounds like automation, right?
Huh. All right. I guess labor availability challenges. I don't know. How do you solve that? Pay the farmers a livable wage so that they can pay the crews that would support labor availability challenges across Latin America. I see where a modicum of restraint in profiteering would be prudent to changing the tenor of labor availability challenges that farmers face. But let's not bring compassion and understanding.
I don't know what kind of talk that is. That doesn't sound very capitalist.
See, but I am a capitalist. Anyway, the next article is over in the mobile. Oh, by the way, if you want to get all of today's articles from Omatron, the bot that polices Twitch and YouTube, you can hit !NSN. And that's for non sequitur news, and it'll post the titles that I gave these segments and the URLs associated with it. They all lead to ohmTown, but from ohmTown, you go over to the articles by clicking on Visit the Source. When you click that, you'll get taken over to the source. Like this one, we've been following this ever since the Maui fires. The wildfire killed more than 100 people caused by re-energization of broken utility lines in Lahaina. Supposedly, this fire was put out, but turning the power back on basically caused it to re-spark.
Right, and I don't know if we knew that exactly, but we were definitely talking about the electric company.
Yep.
Because it seemed like there were fires and then they
ignited.
Yeah.
So Paige Gawley over at Vice.com put this article together, but it's sourced from a bunch of other places, I'm sure. The investigation was released on Wednesday by the Maui Fire Department and the Bureau of ATF-E, so Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
You know what I find odd about that is that I thought Maui Fire Department was one of the participants in this.
They were.
When it was happening. So
it
seems, I mean, I guess they have to investigate it, but that seems a little strange.
Yeah, but I think the TTB was involved in this, right? The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives was part and parcel because they descended on Maui like nobody's business, from what I've been told. The fire has been classified as accidental. Per the report, the re-energization of the line caused sparks, which ignited overgrown vegetation at a surrounding utility pole. The overhead and energized power line fell to the ground, further igniting vegetation. So, quote, "We want to make it abundantly clear to Lahaina and our Maui community that our firefighters went above and beyond their due diligence to be as confident as they could be that the fire was completely extinguished before they left the scene. What caused it was not their inability to put out the fire. What caused it was re-energization of the lines. And because depending on the line, there's no insulation in those lines. So if they're high energy lines, they're typically unshielded to keep down weight. So when they drop to the ground or overgrowth on those lines, which is property of the energy company, not the fire department, they turn the power back on, sparks go off, sets everything ablaze, it falls over, they're still hot, it sets everything on fire. So according to the report, fed by extreme winds, the fire quickly grew out of control, jumped the bypass, and resulted in the subsequent conflagration from which our island community is still recovering. Fire destroyed over 2,000 structures and caused $6 billion in damages.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous that basically they turned the power back on and all that occurred.
And if you're really...
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, once people who do this for a living investigate it forensically, then they find the source of the problem, and the wingnuts and dingbats don't have, they'll believe whatever tripe and trash they want to just conjure up, worse than an AI hallucination. And some of that is actually mentioned at the bottom of this Vice article, but you can go over and read more of the minutiae if you are so inclined. I'm not going to tolerate it. So let's keep moving. The next article is over in non sequitur news. There's already a queue of cargo ships backing up at U.S. ports. That's because the strike started yesterday, day before yesterday. Dock workers' strike is having an immediate effect on the flow of goods through eastern U.S. ports. How many is it? 37 ports?
I don't remember how many ports, but it's all along the East Coast and all along the Gulf Coast.
So Ship tracking data is showing a growing number of vessels sitting at anchor near closed facilities. Experts tell Business Insider that the impact of the backlog will reverberate long after an agreement is reached. Again, the leader of the union for longshoremen said, "We will cripple you."
Yeah, I mean, that certainly suggests that there's not an era of cooperation. But we don't know what the circumstances are leading to the strike either.
Yeah, but I can tell you right away that what they want is a piece of the pie that they are busting their hump to generate and not getting rewarded for it. And they're asking for somewhere around 75% increase in wages over 6 or 7 years. It seems that if they have record profits, billions of dollars, one company that takes part in this dock working process is Maersk. And they made $10 billion last year and $24 billion during each year of the pandemic, for crying out loud, or something like that. My numbers might be mixed up during the last 4 years because the before times are one thing and now is another. But my numbers are right in their value. 1 year was $24 billion in not revenue, profit. And another year was $9 billion. So I really don't have any compassion for the companies, because some of that value needs to go to the people that are busting their hump for a fraction of the value. Like long in the tooth longshoremen are making like 150 grand. Now, my other problem with this is that what they're trying to do is also hobble automation, and that is a losing strategy. They will phase out jobs and replace them with automation before, too long.
Well, you know what can happen when they have automation, right? A port strike.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And I saw a number that was 36, but I don't know if that wasn't a reputable source. I'm not sure.
Percentage of?
No, 36, a number of ports.
Oh, 36 ports. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's the number that I remember too. So, yeah, I buy into unionization, particularly when there is abuse, and abuse happens in the dark. The stones on the leader of the union, though, they know what they've got, and I think that they should leverage it. What's going to end up happening, though, is consumers are going to pay more because the sociopaths don't see that they can have a smaller profit margin and still give money to the longshoremen, give money to the union and keep prices at a relatively consistent value. No, they see it as an option that they can just raise the prices to recapitalize the losses that they're going to have to give to the longshoremen, and they're going to raise the prices to consumers, right? So
that's right. And meanwhile, it's not just raise prices, but it may mean people don't get things that are kind of important.
Like bananas.
Not the frivolous things. Like if they don't get their cookies, okay, they'll probably be okay.
Coffee and bananas. Are you out of your mind? I want my coffee and bananas. Anyway, Dominic Reuter over at businessinsider.com put this article together. A container ship at a facility in Bayonne, New Jersey on Monday, sitting there, all of its containers still sitting. Ooh, that's gotta... See, it just reminds me of me at an airport going, damn, that sucks. Whoever it is that owns that bag is going to be hating life. And then they walk up to me and say, hey, your bag just got run over by one of our vehicles. Thanks. So as the internet...
what I just realized too is, I mean, the more important thing, of course, is the container ships not being able to get in, etc. But other things use these ports too, right? Like the cruise ship industry. So it's going to be interesting to see like how much global transportation is just completely snarled up because of this.
They have said that cruise ships and military will not be negatively impacted.
Okay. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah. So, Business Insider review of ship tracking data shows a growing number of cargo vessels and tankers at anchor near closed facilities, including New York, Virginia Beach, Savannah, Miami, New Orleans, and Houston. Look at that. Man, doesn't look pretty. The whole business model of the container shipping industry is to spend as little time in port as possible. The ship makes money when it's sailing from A to B, says Andrew Coggins, a professor at Pace University. The ship makes money when it's sailing from A to B, he added, saying that some vessels were probably adjusting their speeds in order to delay their arrival for as long as possible so as not to sit idly at anchor. And even if the strike were to end tomorrow, which is extremely unlikely, a new problem is emerging: dock space. Yep. This is going to be messy, folks.
It will be.
Spoiled produce, canceled journeys. Anything that's sitting in the system that's perishable could perish in a week because there's a sell-through process. You get it just in time, just in time, so that the supply is there, it's sold, they bring it again just in time. So there's no delay, no wastage. Yep.
Yeah, and don't think if you're outside of this region that you're not impacted. You're absolutely impacted. If you're in other parts of the US, the products might come in through these ports. If you're in another country, you might be waiting on a ship to return from the US.
I don't know what you're talking about because, I got my coffee and I got my bananas. So it doesn't mean much to me that, let's see here. Brandon Daniels, the CEO of AI supply chain company Exiger, doesn't get their coffee. Right? It's like climate change. It's pretty cold where I am, so must not be warm anywhere else. As alternative channels reach their own capacity limits, they said your overall cost is going to go up, but the efficiency of the systems then gets significantly bogged down. Great. Yeah.
I think anybody who wants an idea of what's ahead should think about things like the
Evergreen,
ship
right?
stuck in the Suez Canal.
And the pandemic in general.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Constructagon, which is all about 3D printing. Maybe we'll be 3D printing on the moon and Mars soon. That would be amazing. I think Icon should build the first moon printer and send it up and have them build a structure, even if it's just a little igloo kind of a thing, a little dome structure for one, just to get it out there, Proof of concept.
That would be really neat.
Revo Foods has opened up a factory in Vienna, which it says is going to be the largest 3D printing food facility. The world's largest food 3D printing factory is going to make 60 tons of faux filet per month. Who is eating this? I would like to try it.
Thank
honestly.
you. I don't know where it's going. Where is the demand?
I volunteer to try. It's fake salmon fillet. So it's not beef, but the fungi-derived food will be made using 3D structuring technology, Revo's method for adding texture and bite to foods. The company is calling the facility the Taste Factory. The Taste Factory. And it will begin shipping products today, October 3rd, 2024. The firm says that the facility could produce up to 60 tons of fake salmon fillet per month. This says to make 60 tons. But they say here in the article, it could produce up to 60 tons.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't mean that they're producing more than like 60 grams.
Ooh, man, that looks very, very familiar to something that I eat sometimes. Well, I haven't had it in several weeks. I eat something different, but yeah, that looks like something that I order and gets delivered.
Yeah, but it looks like real salmon, right?
Well, what is real? If you can't tell the difference, does it matter? Joris Peels over at 3dprint.com put this article together. You were going to say,
Well, I was just gonna give a plug for our show, Reality Hacker.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's a 30-minute show that we do on the weekends. Now it's a 30-minute show. It used to be an hour, but we do 5 articles instead of 10. And then we post all of the articles that are submitted. But they're going to be posted over on Patreon. They won't be part of the regular show, and you won't be able to get them from the bot, but they'll be part of Patreon. All of the shows will be posted there, but you have to be a member of the Patreon to get all 10 of the articles. You'll still get
Wait. The shows will be available beyond Patreon.
Yes, that's true. The shows will be available via Twitch live. And for 60 days after that, they'll always be available over on YouTube. They'll be available as audio files in Patreon, not in Patreon. They'll be available as podcasts in the podcast. Wherever you pick up a podcast, that's where ohmTown is. And they'll be available on Patreon. And there's no ads on any of it. So anyway, so Revo Foods has opened a factory in Vienna. The company is calling the facility the Taste Factory. It can produce up to 60 tons of fake salmon fillet per month. The way that this thing is printing something, it looks weird. I wonder if it gets stamped afterward into
into the right shape or texture or something.
Right. I need to change that audio. So over time, Revo could adapt and improve the textures, mouthfeel, and behavior of the fillet. Behavior?
I don't think the food should have any behavior.
Do not taunt the flavor facility.
Do not feed after midnight.
Don't show it any bright light. Don't get it wet. It's a fish fillet. How can you not get it wet? It's irony. So, for example, a different fillet could be designed for hospitals where food is typically made in large batches, for retirement homes where it's made of the retirees, where the product could be enriched with specific vitamins or minerals, or the retirees. Soylent Green. It's made of people.
Okay, but this company's product is not.
Oh, right. Sorry, I get distracted. I sometimes am powered by AI, and it's the co-host is from the future, and so is fully sentient, but I am powered by current timeline AI, and it hallucinates the bejesus out of whatever information it receives. Right?
I don't know what's going on, but that did sound like an hallucination.
So it's great that they avoided adding sugar to the product and limited cholesterol, and it would have been easy to make it a sugary, unhealthy item, but keeping it healthy is a smart choice for their market and everyone in the long term. If they can make their product both tasty and healthy, they could position themselves as a premium health brand. Many good habits require people to cut back or give up certain foods, but if Revo can create delicious, nutritious options, then it could attract a lot of interest. I'm willing to try it. I would like to try it. But if it tastes like cardboard, like the other fake meat stuff that I've had in the past, sorry. It's not going to work. That looks good, though.
It does look good in the picture. I mean, it actually looks like real food.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. Next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Border agents discover $1 million worth of cocaine hidden in a wheelchair. So I titled this is a Speedy wheelchair. Customs and Border Protection officers confiscated 27 pounds of the drug concealed within the compartment of a motorized wheelchair in Houston. Said while in pursuit, beep, 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 get out of my way.
Exactly. I was like, was somebody occupying the wheelchair at this time?
Bilal Rahman over at Newsweek.com put the article together. The video has nothing to do with the article, but okay.
How did they figure this out? Did the person stand up and walk without any issue? And then somebody went, what's up with the wheelchair?
Had to have been triggered by drug dogs. So the estimated street value is thought to exceed $1 million. In late September, officers referred the wheelchair to an x-ray due to unusually large cushions attached to the frame. The CBP said in a statement, further inspection revealed a metal compartment with 11 packages containing a massive haul of cocaine concealed within the backrest and seat cushions.
How high up do you think the person was in the wheelchair? Right.
Excuse me, you look like you are only 4'11", but sitting in that seat, you look like you're 6'2". We're going to have to refer your lab test, then confirm the package contained cocaine hydrochloride, aka cocaine. If you can think of a drug smuggling method, it's been done. We've seen drug seizures and things like wheelchairs, but wouldn't say it's a common occurrence. Don't need to really go through the rest of this, but there's all of this back history of stuff over the past. So, according to the National Library of Medicine, cocaine hydrochloride is the hydrochloride salt form of the tropane alkaloid cocaine, aka. So it comes as the U.S. faces an ongoing overdose crisis, raising concerns about the increased risk to public health. Yeah. The bigger issue is that people feel compelled to take drugs. That's kind of how it works. So why do people take drugs? It's to get away from all of the stressors and quote unquote enjoy life, or whatever, deal with their maladaptive behavior in some way or whatever. I mean, there's sociological forces here that impact, that turn into psychological and physical motivations. We got to remedy that. I don't think anything is going to stop it because we don't take mental health seriously. And if there's ever a strata of responses to something, it's mental health. Because if you are rich and famous, you basically get a pass, and society says, oh, they're dealing with it, or they just watched the dumpster fire. But if you can't afford to get treatment, then you're left to your own devices, aka criminal activity, to soothe that savage beast. Or you go into massive debt paying for treatment, and thus you can't be an ongoing concern in any way if you can even get treatment. It's not everybody ends up with the same level of treatment either. So anyway, let's move on. Next article is, oh, look, another one.
I can't decide if people are getting more creative or they're more widely reporting these efforts.
Well, I titled this one, I've heard of high chicken prices, but man hides weed under chicken in failed 620,000 pound smuggling plot. Sergei Basyanov from Ireland was halted as he traveled by ferry. Wow. From the Netherlands to the port of Killingholm in the UK. Multiple officers identified him and the delivery truck as being worth a search.
Okay, I'm sorry, but how much do you think they check coming from the Netherlands?
I would suspect every brownie on the planet that comes from the Netherlands is checked by somebody. Excuse me, you're coming from the Netherlands with brownies. Can I have a bite? Well, are you an officer? No, just a food taster. I'm professional brownie taster. You've got brownies. Can I borrow some of your brownies? I'll give it back in 24 hours. You just have to wait. No? Maybe? Go on. Anyway, officers found the trailer packed with fresh chicken. And it seemed innocent enough until Border Patrol noticed new welding and a paint job that suggested the trailer had been tampered with. So it had a blister. Basically an augmentation to the natural build of the vehicle so as to try and smuggle drugs or people. So underneath the poultry were 3 sliding drawers filled with 31 kilos of marijuana, with a street value of apparently 620,000 pounds. Look, chicken prices are high. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, do you think the chickens, when they were clucking, do you think they were relaying that, hey, you might want to look underneath us?
You know those peckers were turning in the driver. They put us in cages, we're going to put you in one. Kyle Philippi over at Vice.com put the article together. Let's see here. There's so much in this. A Scottish man was busted at another time for attempting to sneak cocaine out of South America. His choice of concealment was banana boxes. We've had coconuts. We've had avocados. Bananas. Wheelchair. What else?
We've had things taped to people.
Yeah. We've had big old blocks of stuff taped to people. God.
Like animals and computer
chips. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And drugs themselves. They think that they can just walk on through. True. Yeah. All right, people. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Technology Today. Cats in the hats. They are precariously close to I think a trademark term, or at least a copyrighted term. New technique transforms how scientists scan cats' brains. By the way, you can't just copyright a phrase so much as trademark it. But anyway, Canadian scientists crafted small wood cat. Did you look ahead by any chance?
Well, I saw the photo.
Oh.
I think it was with the article in the main page or somewhere, or maybe when I don't know. But yes, I've seen the photo and I'm so glad it's included.
So, Canadian scientists crafted small wood caps to securely hold electrodes in place. Securely, what? What did I say?
They're wool caps, not wood.
Oh, I thought I said wool. Okay. Let me rephrase this because the sentient AI is going to smack me if I don't. Although digitally, which is kind of digitally. Never mind. Anyway, Canadian scientists crafted small wool caps. Did I pronounce that properly?
Yes.
Well-wheaten wool caps to securely hold electrodes in place. Now I'm just messing with you. Preventing cats from shaking them off during chronic pain tests. How do they know that the cats are in chronic pain?
Because they're probably yowling or something.
Nobody knits me a small wood cap. In a world first, veterinary scientists at the University of Montreal have successfully developed a method to scan the brains of awake cats utilizing electrodes hidden beneath custom knit wool caps, searching for the elusive one orange brain cell. Oh God, that is so adorable. Poor kitty.
Now, what I don't know is how do they keep the cats still?
I swear, this cat looks like it's wearing like a little jersey shirt and a little knitted wool cap with
really
openings for the ears. I mean, oh my God, I want this cat. This cat is adorable. So named Fee, they're an abandoned cat with chronic osteoarthritis, was one of 11 who wore specially knitted caps for tests at Université de Montréal's University School. I want this adorable little kitty.
It's very adorable.
It's over at SciTech
I think they
Daily.
should make cosmetic little caps for cats like this. I think they're not just for medical purposes.
This has a market. I swear it has to. Somebody has to be making this. I don't know how, maybe it's a world first for the medical side of things, but there has to be somebody out there on Etsy that's pumping these out for $20 a pop. Right? I mean, this is like $1.50 of wool and 10 minutes worth of knitting for somebody that's, really good at it. Sell them for $20 and everybody would buy. I just want to scratch his nose, her nose, actually. Just boop. Poor thing. So while being tested, they have these wired electrodes placed on their head to produce an EEG, an electroencephalogram, to prevent the cats, shaking them off or chewing on the wires and playing or whatever. Cats are normally sedated, but that's actually pretty bad. You can't sedate animals because constantly sedating them leads to brain damage. Well, all 11 of these cats have osteoarthritis and were tested. After assessing their stress and pain through stimuli passed through the electrodes, the scientists went about exposing the cats to soothing stimuli such as colored lights and comforting smells as a way to ease their suffering. So they tracked them. So now they plan to obtain NSERC Alliance funding and participation with private companies to enable them to establish a genuine EEG signature for chronic pain and many other applications that will enable them to automate chronic pain detection in the future.
Okay, this is really cool. I mean, one of the problems with pets and just animals in general, right, is that they can't talk to people and explain what the problem is.
I think we just don't understand them yet.
You think we'll have a pet translator in the future?
Yep, I hope so. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in Stock Marketeers. Rents are out of control, and these tenants are trying a new tactic to fight back. I don't know. It says striking renters are calling on the federal government to bring what they call neglectful landlords in line. Good. Arthi Swaminathan put this article, or Swaminathan. I'm not sure how they pronounce her last name, but I'm giving it my Harvard try. I never went to Harvard, so 5 years ago, Anna Heatman and her partner moved from New Jersey to Missouri into what they believed to be an affordable apartment rental in a building called Independence Towers. Heatman was starting law school, and $585 a month sounded like a fair deal at the time. She later found out that it was anything but. So since they've graduated, gradually saw her rent rise to $860 a month while living conditions deteriorated. So you're going to have to move somewhere else, that's how it works. But you're paying somebody else's mortgage no matter what. I know it sucks, but.
Right. And you might start out at a higher rental rate at another place.
Yeah. I mean, it really does suck. So strike, right? That's what they're doing. Heatman and her fellow renters' frustration has boiled over into a rent strike, part of a broader effort by the tenant advocacy group KC Tenants and the Tenant Union Federation to push for new building ownership and fight what they say is disrepair and too high rents. Starting Tuesday, she and the majority of her neighbors at the Independence, Missouri building began withholding rent in an effort to win better living conditions. Another group of tenants in Kansas City, Missouri were also organizing a strike starting that day. The two rent strikes are the first in the country to specifically target the Federal Housing and Finance Authority, a federal agency that regulates the government-sponsored enterprises Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Fannie and Freddie are a critical part of the U.S. economy as they guarantee and back a significant chunk of the country's mortgages. So if these are essentially rent-controlled, government-sponsored, managed locations,
they're probably subject to certain standards. I mean, I think private landlords are as well, but they might actually get somewhere with this.
Yeah. So rents have rapidly escalated over the past few years, raising 1.5 times faster than average wage growth, according to an analysis by the real estate company Zillow. Nationally, the median rent was roughly $1,400 in August, according to Apartment List, an online rental marketplace. That's up over 20% from the start of 2021. It's downright predatory.
Mm-hmm.
There could be money in everybody's pocket, making money just like all of the ultra rich people, but the supply side is demanding any leftover amount of money. You cannot save because they know that they can extract more wealth from you because you have zero bargaining power. So they can just bump it up. We see it all the time. Even if you own a house, your values go up, so your property taxes go up.
Right.
Gas prices go up, electricity prices go up. The only benefit of owning a house is that you have some tax write-off capabilities, and you get equity.
Well, and also you're paying yourself, right?
Yeah,
Like, as opposed to renting.
Yeah, you get equity. When you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage, and they get a tax write-off, actually. But you are burdened by other things. You have to do all of your lawn, or you pay for somebody else to do it. You have to buy that equipment. It costs time, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's no panacea here just because you own your own property. But it's better than paying somebody ever increasing contract to contract inflation. So my point is, though, that this is an ongoing problem, mainly because the suppliers, it's always the suppliers. They're the ones that are setting that baseline, and then every single tier above it until you is taking another bite out of the apple, and all you get is the rotten core, dried out husk. That's how it is. I don't like the game. I don't even want to play it. I went to business school, felt it firsthand like that from the side that was kind of indoctrinating people into it. And I said, no, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to be part of it. You know, I'll raise awareness about it and have people decide their own fate. But I think it's ridiculous. You know, I have seen people paying $5,000 for 150 square feet of space. And it's because there are people that are willing to pay it because they think that they're going to win the game.
Or they're desperate to find a place to live and there isn't a better deal being offered.
Yeah, it's the place to live because they have no bargaining power. And the only other place to live is outside of whatever, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, anywhere. And, you know, the concentration of population, which is there's certain ideological bents that favor a socialized society, like people being together, right? So if you go the other route, then you live off in the woods and you think that the world is out to get you, or you pay $4,000 to somebody that is rather abusive in their pricing. The world doesn't have to cost this much, but there are people that are making it because they want the money and they will step on your neck to make sure they get the money. Enough of my soapbox, but the rent strike of 2024 carry a different tone than the ones in years past. Victor Monterosa, an adjunct professor and managing director of Housing Justice and Tenant Solidarity Clinic at the Rutgers School of Law in Newark, New Jersey, told MarketWatch, quote, "There's been a real issue of allowing for decades of neglect and disinvestment," he said, "and the fact that rents have rapidly increased over the last few years makes people desperate. Without legal recourse, tenants resort to a rent strike, which carries the risk of not only eviction, but also potential arrest. Not just eviction, but long-term damage to their credit history. And once you default on a contract for your rent, you will have to pay through the nose to get another rent contract in place."
Or you might not get one at all.
Right.
You might just go, oh, you're too risky.
Yep. You will have to pay not just first and last months, but whatever they dictate. And you will be at their beck and call. So about 4 in 10 households rented their homes in 2022, and among them, a record 22 million spent more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities, according to most recent data. 33% is pretty much typical for what is expected for you to spend in a mortgage. So when it's rent, not only are you not paying yourself in equity, but you're paying somebody else and getting jack. How do people save up? They can't. Why? Because the suppliers have already set the baseline increase because they know how much money is in the system. And they're sociopathic, so they jack up the price so that they get more. Why? Because we've built a society that frames its mentality around getting as much as possible. Don't leave money on the table. Greed is good. Be sociopathic. You know, grab the brass ring when you can, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, it's insane. So But then they bring things like swing states in like North Carolina and Nevada. Renters are experiencing a higher cost burden compared with 4 years ago. They said population growth has pushed rents higher while incomes have failed to catch up, leading to a lack of affordability. But property builders could be building property. So why not? Why does
All
the price
about money.
why does the price have to increase because the properties are rented? If you made 30% off of your rental property this year, you're going to make it next year too. The difference is that the supply side raises the cost for all of the costs of goods at the lower level of living. And so to make up for it, somebody has to raise the price for rent so that they can make up for their losses for living their life. Everything is interconnected, but everybody ignores that. What they want is to control rent. But that belies the losses that somebody else has to suffer because somebody else knows that they can raise the price for some product somewhere. And I have yet to do this, but I want to follow the chain from buying something at a restaurant, talking to the owners of the restaurant for the onion, and then peel back the layers of the onion all the way to the real supplier. And the next person that the person that buys it directly from the supplier is going to go, yeah, I had to pay 25% more for that onion. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, it would be an interesting experiment, although kind of disappointing for the results.
Yeah, I mean, I can predict it because I've talked to other people that are supply side and they're like, yeah, I raised the rates. Why? Because supply and demand. And I'm like, there hasn't been more demand. I mean, we're not reproducing more people than we did before. We're actually reducing population. So where is the more demand coming from? They can't answer that. Well, we're producing less. No, so you're artificially constraining it so that you can say that there's produced less, or there's more pressure on the demand side. No. Anyway, let's keep moving. The next article is over in, this is a comedy show as well as news. And so you should be laughing your ass off right now.
Not crying.
Not crying. So this next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Maybe this will make you giggle because somebody was stuck in a truck for 3 days before... No, wait, sorry. That's wrong.
I hope we have a picture of the truck.
Oh, we do. So driver wedges truck on narrow road for 3 days before finally being rescued by a crane. A truck driver in the UK found themselves in a sticky wicket this week when they headed down a narrow road that was too skinny for their enormous trailer to pass through, and the truck and its cargo ended up wedged in a narrow country lane for 3 days before a crane could be called to lift the enormous load up. There's your... Yeah. So that is the 18-wheeler that was pulled out of the... This is just the trailer, not the tractor. So right. Owen Bellwood over at jalopnik.com put the article together. The deck statement says, we've all taken a wrong turn down a narrow road, but have you ever wondered what would actually happen if you got stuck on said narrow road? Well, that's what it took.
I mean, the crane is larger than all the buildings in the area. This must have been pretty embarrassing.
But for 3 days, this thing was stuck there. How did nobody notice that there's this truck stuck there for 3 days?
Exactly.
There's a video. Oh my, I'm going to play it. Come on. Oh. Is it actually playing?
Doesn't seem to be.
Oh yeah, it's really slow. So it looks like they lifted it straight out of that spot.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's going really slow. Like way slow, like abysmally slow. Like this video would not be 3 minutes and 23 seconds if I was the editor.
It's trying to mimic the
3 days.
slow pace of, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it only took 23 seconds to rescue them, but those 3 minutes were symbolic of each day. Look at that. So they just like picked it up, moved it over a building, and set it back down. That who knows where the trailer is.
The road ahead though, because like can they get through there?
It's like the deer that they got out of the fence, and then it turned around and wedged itself right back in. Dumbass. So the trailer was finally lifted free Wednesday, but law enforcement in the area haven't yet confirmed whether any penalties will be coming the driver's way. After all, they reportedly missed signs warning that the route wasn't suitable for heavy vehicles further up the road. However, they aren't the first person to miss such warnings, adds local newspaper Falmouth Packet, which is an awesome British newspaper name. It's so Harry Potter. Oh my God. The Falmouth Packet. According to the site, another truck got stuck in exactly the same place 16 years ago. Back then, authorities even called on exactly the same crane operator to lift the vehicle free.
It's a small town, isn't it?
I love this. This is awesome. Maybe he needs keeping on speed dial for the next time a truck gets stuck in Forder in 2040.
Maybe he should have like a special, like the get out of whatever the street name is deal. Or like you could pay like up front, like it's like
the insurance.
What are those called? Travel insurance or something.
Yeah. Oh no, what is this? What the heck? Okay, we don't need to watch any of that. Let me just pause that. Well, so they say the lorry cab was driven away and a crane was brought in to lift the 8-ton lorry trailer while road diversions were in place. 30 homes had their power turned off as the operation started. Dear God. McSalver's plant hire, Dougie Smith, was the driver tasked with the lift on Wednesday morning. He said once it's up and in a horizontal position, it's straight up and straight lift. Succinct.
Do you think he was laughing at the truck while he was doing this?
Well, if he's the exact same crane operator and company, he's probably going through... I swear I've done this before.
This already? Is this the same truck that got stuck last time?
Does everybody refer to deja vu as deja vu, or is there a different term, like in a different country? I don't know.
I think it's just deja vu.
Deja vu, right? Yeah. All right. So I had to include this. Let's keep going. The last article for today's non sequitur news is over on Reality Hacker, which is again one of our shows. OpenAI's ChatGPT breaks out of its box and onto a canvas. That's right. ChatGPT's new Canvas interface can suggest improvements to writing and code, as well as make inline changes. The most interesting thing that I have witnessed now with ChatGPT is citations. It actually includes references.
I don't really get, because if it was really pulling from all these different sources without that, how is it now providing those?
So the last time I did something, it pulled up 9 references, but it only cited 3 of them in the article itself by link. Like it actually, but it doesn't do like APA style or MLA style. It just has the link to the source. And really it was 2 of the same and then Wikipedia. And I'm actually looking at it. So I tried to use ChatGPT to summarize something about Ticketmaster to see if it would do what I was told. And I've always known that it didn't do. But then that day it was like, hey, there's citations, but not proper citations. So the article is over at Wired. Reese Rogers put the article together. The deck statement says ChatGPT's new Canvas interface can suggest improvements to writing and code. Sorry, I keep merging those together, to writing and code, as well as make inline changes. Just one day after OpenAI announced a $6.6 billion funding round, the company is launching its first major interface evolution for ChatGPT, and what could be recognition from OpenAI as its transformational chatbot is ready for user experiences beyond a question and answer format. The new beta feature is an editable canvas that opens in a window alongside ChatGPT's standard chat box. So they say here, the core thing we're trying to solve is a better way to collaborate with ChatGPT on writing and coding. A product lead, Daniel Levine at OpenAI for the Canvas feature. Canvas is rolling out in beta to ChatGPT Plus and Team subscribers today, and enterprise and EDU customers will likely get the feature next week. The feature is fully functional on desktops. Mobile users can only view the Canvas projects for now. So yeah, you'll be able to say things as it designs something on the other side. So you can basically augment the output. So with Canvas, ChatGPT can generate a starting draft of a project for you, and the AI and you edit together. You can paste an existing draft of what you're working on for feedback. Levine started off by asking ChatGPT to use Canvas to help draft a crucial email. He followed up by highlighting a couple of paragraphs and requesting specific changes. The thing about this, though, is that with experience develops skill, and that skill invalidates anything that ChatGPT can do if you're the one that's supplying the information. And if you're relying on ChatGPT to supply the information, you might as well verify everything.
Just quit your job. Well, or verify first.
Yeah, because you're going to get fired, or you're going to verify everything and save your own hide.
Well, and at some point, somebody's going to provide something that's been used by somebody else in their field or something, and it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to end up being, dead internet theory kind of thing, where people are regurgitating the same gibberish, delving beyond what they should be.
I know, I can't think of the other word that was appearing a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not really, I mean, academics are not looking at keywords as the problem. Academics are looking at references, citations, and then interactions with students that lead to the fact that they don't know what the hell they wrote. And that's what leads to plagiarism charges. So it's worth noting that 3 people listed as supporting leadership on the Canvas project are no longer with the company. Former post-training co-lead and co-founder John Schulman left in August and now works at Anthropic, a rival AI company. Additionally, former Chief Technology Officer Mira Murati and Research Vice President Barrett Zoff both stepped down from their positions a week before this launch at a press event in OpenAI office after the departures. Current Chief Product Officer Kevin Weil reaffirmed the company's commitment to continue releasing software. And mind you, OpenAI is divesting itself of the barrier of nonprofit.
Right, and I don't believe that timing is coincidental. I mean, that probably has a lot to do with some of the departures.
And the $6.6 billion funding round. Oh, and I think they've got a $3.5 billion rolling credit line now, too. So it really prices them at around $10 billion. Yeah. But that's it, folks.
There?
Here is Sam Altman pointing up, saying, "I'll be way up there and you'll be way down there." Anyway, that's it, folks. I've asked ChatGPT to tell me the directions to get to ohmTown, and it says, just click that. And here we are, back at the front page of ohmtown.com, which is where you should go and become a citizen. Be sure to like and subscribe us over on YouTube. That is really the only way that we get new viewers and attention and promoted, by way of linking us, well, to you. And people go, oh, look, people are liking and subscribing, so we should like and subscribe too. And leave a comment over on YouTube. And leave a comment over on Patreon. And download the podcast and leave a comment there. A 5-star review would do wonders. Twitch, on the other hand, you're going to have to come and hang out and chat. That would be great. That's it. We're done for today. We'll see you tomorrow. I am Mayor Watt, and this is the Sentient AI's Visualizer and their voice.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. we'll have another episode coming up shortly. Be sure to like and subscribe to find out when we're live.
Reinheitsgebot. That's a beer purity law.